Am I looking in the camera or probably talking to you?
You know, we're going to keep this organic. This is Mike Capozzola.
Capozzola.
Cap.
I
See,
forget how to say it.
I took that 2-drink minimum, and I'm a little off. But
I think it's Capozzola.
Capozzola. You know, I know the Mike part, and
Right.
Capozzola now I know. Okay, that's a horrible start, but we're going to go with that because we've had the chance to chat. And Mike Capozzola, cartoonist, stand-up comedian,
That's it.
among other talents. Because
There's nothing else.
okay.
Bad with directions. I can't cook. That's it.
What I'd like to do is, tell us a little bit about your stand-up. I just enjoyed your stand-up tonight.
That bare knuckle fighting in that cage match over there.
I know it's like you're the guy, so you're self-conscious and you're
Right.
thinking you did terrible. But I think you were really good.
Thanks.
And you had a fun time, and you think there was maybe the audience was like a little in and out, but they were all with you.
Yeah.
So, and I think of maybe you could dissect a little bit about what you do, like the part where you're talking about movies, and you say,
Yeah.
I'm in that.
Right.
I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. How did you develop that rhythm? If that's a good question to
That's a
ask.
good question. So you're talking about the thing with the trailers. I like what I look for in trailers.
Right, and then you have that repetitive thing that locks it in
Yeah.
place.
It started as a cartoon, and it just didn't look that good. Where it was the idea of I look for the following. I like the I'll see a movie that has the following things, and so I was thinking of things that are compelling visuals. Like I like a train, an old train going through the countryside. They usually shoot it from above, maybe on a helicopter, but it just didn't work as a cartoon. Like with the smoke coming out of the. And maybe I'm just not a good enough illustrator to do it. Or and I like a werewolf howling on the roof, on like an English rooftop, like that. But in the end, it was just I just rattle off the things that I'll see. But also, it is true where my friends will say, one of my buddies, like, "You'll see any movie you read," and I was like, "No, I have a checklist," and it is kind of. I like action movies. Like, if in the thing is Liam Neeson threatening somebody, I want to see that because I love Liam Neeson. I love him threatening, and he's got this career now in action movies, and somebody's been kidnapped or somebody's been framed, and he's just. And I love so as long as Liam Neeson is threatening somebody, I'm gonna go see that. And so it kind of came from there. That was the first one, and what else do I like?
Now, I was asking earlier about Seattle and its quirky character.
Yeah.
Could you tell us your take on it? Did you? I've lived here for so many years, and I have experienced some of the things that are stereotypes. There's the truth to them, and I have experienced that prim and proper quality. But not so for you. You don't think people are just more like people are people, and you had a good time here while you've been in Seattle.
They're not like prim and proper. I wouldn't think for Seattle. I would. Massachusetts. That's where I think prim and proper. Like,
Well, yeah, there you go.
Are we gonna live through the night out here?
I told you.
That's prim and proper. Here's a guy.
There you go. Well, we're in Pioneer Square. It's more of a rowdy area.
Yeah, they're playing Kick the Lunchbox. But although in fairness, it had a bottle of Beaujolais and a smoked salmon sandwich, so that is kind of prim and proper. Oh man, it is just a fascinating. I don't know. This is the Seattle. There's a lot of wackadoodles here. Lots of homeless, lots of wackadoodles.
I know. It's a cool place that's become so cool, and it wants to be. It doesn't necessarily want. If Seattle itself was an entity, it didn't necessarily want to be a big city, but there are powers out there that want it to be a big city. You know what I mean?
I don't want the guy from the city to come our way. Like, I just keep keeping an eye on him. Will he be coming this way at some point after kicking that thing? Now they're huddling, trying to decide what to do. Like, do we chase him with torches? Do we just let it go? It's
Well, you know, that said, it's like New York. It's becoming like New York, where you have to keep your eyes peeled a little bit.
Yeah, but that said, like the coffee's great. I'm noticing a lot of. There are a lot of businesses with an ampersand in it. You know, where it has a. Food places, you can sell anything if there's an ampersand. I've seen so many things. We were walking around today.
Now you're playing into my prim and proper mentality.
Absolutely. Wow, this is hysterical. Anyway,
it's life in the big cities. Seattle is the big city.
It is, but we're not that far from like the wilds of Alaska. Like it feels
That's
more
right.
of Mountain Man, it feels more like a sophisticated Mountain Man town than it would ever be closer to Massachusetts, you know, Harvard Square, that kind of thing.
You know, that inspires me. I think I'll be able to make another. Let's do another 20-year run for myself here in Seattle.
Well, let's see. Next time one of those wackadoodles comes within striking distance, if I can get his attention, then he goes like this: "What are you looking at?" And then I go, "Oh, how quickly! Exactly the kind of social intercourse I'd hope to find by traveling to your delightful town." Like we'll see how he responds to that. I've found with some of these guys when I haven't ever said that, but I feel like if I tell them I'm from another time, if I went like this, exactly the kind of social intercourse I'd hope to find traveling to your century, where I try to out crazy them. That's my only hope, is out crazy them. I don't have to worry.
Yeah, that would work. That would work. Now tell us a little bit about your pop culture presentation or
the show?
Or show. Yeah.
I love doing it. It's called Evil Cyborg Sea Monsters. And last time I tried to do it, you might be aware, it got called off because it was the Final Four. Like, nobody came because the Golden State Warriors were in the playoffs, and 0 people turned up. But this time we had a good turnout on Wednesday. It was really fun. It's a mix of stand-up and slides about cartoons, pop culture. Largely sci-fi and superheroes, though. The dominant thing is I've done it at a bunch of comic conventions. It's really like it's a presentation that fits in perfectly with comic conventions. The crowd is coming there because they know who Peter Parker is, or they have seen all the Star Wars movies many times. They're not wandering in like comedy tonight, evil cyborg sea monsters. Like, nobody wanders in for that. They've specifically been told by another friend who's going, "Hey, I know you like The Flash. Come see this show." And that's cool. It's a great feeling that you don't get. Like a show like that tonight, they're not there to see me. I happen to be, I can't even say a bonus. It's like I'm incidental to the whole comedy experience. But with the show that I do, they are coming to see what I do. So that's fun. That's a fun time. It's nurturing. You know, I can walk a little more with things.
So it's not something that's going to offend anyone. It's going to be just like you're sharing your love for the.
It's funny you should mention that, because I do have a thing that I take out if I do it. If I've gotten it booked at a library or at a comic convention where it's, you know, they want it to be PG-13 or something. It's a segment called The Incorrigible Hulk. And it's in very poor taste. But like I said, it's removable, so I can take that out of the show. And there's 1 or 2 other things that I just simply, if they say, please make it family friendly, like, all right, Incorrigible Hulk's coming out, and these 2 other slides. But for the most part, you know, it's family friendly.
Now, tell us a little bit about, or as much as you want, about your cartooning, because that it seems like they're both together. The stand-up and the cartooning, they kind of take equal amounts of your time.
Take equal amounts of my time and pay 0 each. That's I've been doing it. I've been drawing my whole life. I love drawing. Love it. Doing stand-up for 27 years. So that's why the show is so fun, because it's the Evil Cyborgs. It is the intersection of the 2 things I love most: stand-up and drawing, and specifically to serve like a nerdy, umbrella of sci-fi superhero humor. A lot of in-jokes that feel like they're targeted to guys like you and me. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, do you remember the Buck Rogers TV show from '78?
Sure.
So that's in the show. I talk about that. So it's very specific, where somebody who brings their 12-year-old kid, he's not going to know about Princess Ardala, but the dad will know about Princess Ardala.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But part of the world of being a comedian is to be self-deprecating. But I'm here as a witness to say that I find you very enjoyable and very professional, very cool.
Thanks.
Comedian.
Thanks, man.
Very cool comedian.
But you're right about the self-deprecating thing, because it is the voice. Comedy's the voice of the underdog.
Yeah.
And it's hard to. I don't know. It's all over the map. It's a hard line to, if you want to make fun. Like the Trump stuff. I was so glad the Trump stuff worked, and it has never not worked because he's such an asshole.
Yeah.
It's but also I was talking about this with a buddy. You can watch Saturday Night Live and laugh, but it's very one-sided. The dynamic of the TV throwing the image into your room, but you can't, and you can applaud with your spouse or whatever. But I think in a live room, it almost feels like an act of civil disobedience to applaud somebody saying live, but it's very one-sided. The dynamic of the TV throwing the image into your room, but you can't, and you can applaud with your spouse or whatever. But I think in a live room, it almost feels like an act of civil disobedience to applaud somebody saying live, but what you know to be true, and that you know wouldn't be appreciated by that administration. Like if you're,
Oh, right.
you know, I've seen it happen. I've seen people, like, it feels like a defiant gesture if they're clapping to say, "Hey, I like the anti-Trump material." Like they just doesn't matter if you're like sharing something on Facebook or talking on the phone with someone about, "Can you believe this happened?" When it's being said live and you support it live, it's a. I never say who's with me, but I think if somebody's clapping or laughing along with it, it's inherent. Like, who's with me? You know what I mean? It's a wild dynamic that's been happening.
Well, there's so many acts of resistance that people want to participate in. And I think even when you have the Trump supporters in the audience, I think you can even play off that energy, like
They don't talk.
the conflict.
Yeah, but they know they're outnumbered, and I think they almost feel like they don't want to be outed. Like they,
Yeah.
it's weird. If somebody's, let's say it's a tourist who's in from, I don't know, let's just say Wisconsin, and he's sitting there like this. Afterward, like he's not going to come and bother me. He knows he's outnumbered, and it's just not worth him mentioning. Let's say I took my niece to see Justin Bieber, and there's no way I would try to tell everybody else in the auditorium, "This guy's an asshole. He's horrible. He's a talentless clown." I wouldn't bother trying to tell people in the arena he's a talentless clown. I know he's a talentless clown. My niece might love Justin Bieber, and I'm like, fine, that kind of thing. Like you can't rage against
Right.
this onslaught. Don't you all see what a preposterous show this is? Like that. Wouldn't waste the time. So this guy's not going to say, "You're all of you laughing. Shh, stop, you're wrong." And the comedian's worst of all. They can't bother with that.
Well, to wrap this up, because there's so many more little things I would like to ask. Maybe we can pursue it a little bit further on.
Further away from these guys?
Further away from those guys. Is there something that you'd like to tell us here and now that's going on in your calendar? Something you might like to let people know about? Or anything in general that comes to mind?
I mean, if they happen to be in San Francisco on Thursday, I'm doing a show at a place called The Setup. But by the time this airs, Thursday will have come and gone, and also they can't go back in time, and also it's a tiny little gig, so it's not worth mentioning.
You're always
always
working.
stuff.
There's ongoing stuff, right?
The show that I do has its own Facebook page called Evil Cyborg Sea Monsters. I love doing it, and like I just want to keep doing that show around. It's just so much fun to do. So yeah, if your town needs nerdy humor and you have a projector and a screen in a space that can hold somewhere between 3 and 30 to 130 people, let me know.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.